I'm Neil Brown Jr. from TV's SEAL Team, and you're watching Celebrity Sweat. Thanks for having me. One of my heroes, man. I'm looking really forward to working out with you. I've been a martial artist since I was a kid, since I was 4 years old, and it's helped me do everything. It's informed my career. It's informed my family and the way I do everything, and it really helps me out on SEAL Team, being flexible and able to do all to emulate what real Navy SEALs do without having all that Navy SEAL training.
Right.
So,
you know, when you do play a Navy SEAL, right? What are some of the things that you go through, but you never thought you would be doing as a SEAL?
Some of the SEAL training, some of the Navy SEAL training
right.
that they do, the amount of geometry and math, I didn't expect. I didn't know that there was so much math involved. But you know, playing a sniper, you have to know trajectory, you have to know your geometry. Also, I mean, you know, you hear swimming, you know, is a thing, but like these guys, they swim, man, and they go and go and go and go, and the amount of deprivation that they go through, like, you know, once they're spent, once they have absolutely nothing left, then the workout starts, pretty much. So that's one of the things that was crazy about it, and a lot of clandestine, a lot of land. I thought it was going to be in the water even more so, but a lot of hiking.
So can you tell us a little bit about your martial arts training?
Yeah, I started with American pugilism, boxing. With my uncle Tiger, who boxed Muhammad Ali in exhibition after he got out of the Army. He was an Army champ. And so I kind of did it backwards. I started with you know, a continuous fighting aspect, and then moved on to Shotokan Karate, Muay Thai. But I've done it. I was in Taekwondo, Ishinryu, Goju-ryu, Warangdo, Tangsudo, Mudu Kwan. I did it.
You've done a lot of
I did it. I mean, it was 80s kid, so, and I loved movies. I loved your movies.
Well, thank you.
I'm a huge Van Damme guy, Steven Seagal, everybody. I just love martial arts. Cynthia Rothrock. You know, I used to watch those movies over and over in the Tiger Claws and whatnot. So I trained 7 days a week, 3-4 hours a day, since I was a little itty-bitty kid.
Well, that's
and
awesome.
It really helped me. I mean, it's how I got into acting, so.
What about your diet? What do you do for your diet? Because I know
burgers, cheeseburgers, pizzas, you know, anything sweet and delicious, cake, ice cream. No, I'm actually not a big sweet eater. My mom coming up, she loved fruit and veggies, so that was my candy, because my dad really didn't allow me to have candy. I had candy, but I sold it at school. That was my thing. I was an entrepreneur, you know. It helped pay for, you know, my gear, you know, because my parents was like, hey, you want to do all this karate, but we can't buy you all this stuff because we didn't really have no money. So I got a little money, used that to buy, you know, my pads and wraps and whatnot. But my diet's pretty clean now, especially. A lot of chicken, rice, fish. I go vegan like a couple days out the week, just to, you know, I'm not getting no younger, so I'm trying to make sure the cholesterol, the sodium stuff is right. But pretty clean, low on carbs these days. You know, it depends if I'm cutting or bulking. I bulk up for SEAL Team, and then I shed down for Insecure, which I don't have to do anymore because we're done with that. The season 5 is over for Insecure, so I don't have to cut down anymore.
So what do you do for motivation? What motivates you? What do you play any type of music before you work out, or what gets you going before you get ready to shoot the show?
My wife. Well, knowing what I'm doing it for. Like, so I see her, I see the kids, I know, you know, what my goal is, and then I have I listen to Pep Talk. As a motivational speakers, motivational speeches, bodybuilding motivation, C.T. Fletcher,
awesome,
his guy, you know, Kai Green, whoever it is on. I'm a huge, as a bodybuilding fan from a very young age as well, like the old heads. They used to come off season in Florida where I lived, and they would train there when they were bulking up off season. So I got to see a lot of those guys, and it informs a lot of how I work out in the gym with weights. But I listen to a lot of motivational speeches, and then I listen to a playlist that I kind of created of like, it's music, but it's kind of like Zen music, and that kind of, you know, that's for my warm up. So I get motivated with the motivational speeches, I go into the Zen warm up, and then I go into some, you know, some music to throw stuff around. You know,
Okay,
Victory by Biggie Smalls. It's a big one.
See, he's a real martial artist. He's not just a pretend martial artist, but he really knows martial arts. You can tell because everything he does, he talks about his martial arts first. And when you talk about your martial arts, that kind of gives you a background on your discipline and focus. Is that how you got to be who you are today?
A big, huge part of it. My dad's a huge disciplinarian. He's a Marine, Vietnam era Marine. He's the one that, like, he didn't want me boxing, but my Uncle Tiger saw I had an aptitude, I had hands, so he let me do it, but he really wanted me to be a martial artist. My dad loved Bruce Lee. He loved, my dad's big, like he was like 6'2", 265, but he could throw a kick. And I was like, where you get that from? He's like, boy, we learned some things in the Marines. Boy, I know the Taekwondo. And he really wanted me, he knew I could kick someone's eyes out. So he's like, he just thought as a martial artist, I would get the discipline and knowledge to be able to avoid the fight. Whereas being a boxer, I was just gonna go head first because I was a knucklehead as a kid. I was kind of like an angry, tough kid. So the martial arts helped me hone. Like it's like I had a lot of fire in me, a lot of anger, but it's all how you use it, right? So like fire, you can use it to warm a house or you can use it to burn it down. So it's all on how you use it. So he knew that putting me into martial arts that I would learn how to use that fire and put it towards something positive, which was just like, I really learned that you needed to work hard at whatever you want. And you had to just be able to put in the work and put in the work and put in the work. Because the most talented basketball player ever in the world, you've never seen or heard of him. He just didn't have any work ethic. He had all the talent, no work ethic. So you needed both those. So I learned that from training. And
so if you could look into the camera and tell, if you got kids looking in, right, looking at the show, what could you tell them to keep them motivated and not giving up in life if they got a goal?
Oh, nothing beats hard work. Nothing beats hard work. You can have whatever you want, so long as you're willing to work really, really hard for it and not complain and keep going. You got to do tons of things in this life that you don't want to do, but you do what you have to do till you can do what you want to do. Everybody wants their bills paid, but don't nobody feel like paying bills, right? You can't have one without the other. Life is full of stuff that you don't feel like doing. Learn to love to do what you have to do so that you can eventually do what you want as well.
You know, playing a Navy SEAL, what is expectations of what a Navy SEAL is? And, you know, what kind of person is a Navy SEAL?
Like the big, huge thing that like was a big surprise to me that I mean, there are all these guys that like the most powerful muscle is their mind, right? Their brain, right? Like that can do, they will get the job done no matter what, and they really think fast on their feet, but they're very cognizant of, like they're able to take in a lot of information in a very short amount of time. They learn how to do that faster and faster. They're just these guys though that surprise me because most of them have a higher education. Like they have at least a BA. And then many of them have master's degrees and doctorates, in addition to being able to run 25 miles, you know what I mean, and then go swim 10 miles and stuff. They're just these guys who are like, you give them a problem and they'll solve it, you know, and they'll refer to their team if they can't, and collectively. So they're just, you know, just solid dudes who are like doing the ultimate job for, you know, for our country. That's
amazing. I mean, I've been all over the world training, you know, armed forces, right? And so when you get a chance to like play an armed forces guy, what does it feel like? What does it feel like, you know, for yourself to be one of those people who can go into a country and just take it apart?
Oh, I would like to say that it is an honor because it is, but it also is just really awesome. You know what I mean? You know, like it's a dream come true for a kid like me who's, you know, like I said, is martial artist, a big, huge action guy, to play this guy, and particularly the guy that I play, Ray Perry, on SEAL Team, is a really, really good dude. I'm essentially playing my father. Like when I play Ray, I impart a lot of all the values that my dad has and that he instilled in me. I put it in Ray. So Ray's a guy that I would like to be as good as, but I think it will fall short of a guy like that. But
Neil, for a workout, what do you do? Do you train 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week?
I try to keep it. I would train 7, but my wife was like, "You need to rest." So I train about 6 days a week. I do Y3T program, Yoda training program, Y3T. It's a progressive resistance program. That's the weight that I do. And then my cardio, so I'll do Monday, Tuesday weights with some form of cardio, or I'll do the workout really fast so that it's also a cardio workout.
Right.
And then on that off day, which is supposed to be the rest day, I'll do a run, I'll do Muay Thai, I'll train over at Mayett Martial Arts with my trainer, Dan Mayett. And he would, we'll work the pads, we'll, do more Muay Thai than anything else. Occasionally I'll go in the backyard, just run through the kata, run through all my kata from Shotokan. I don't get through all 14. It's like by 6, I'm dying. But swimming.
Look, can I ask you a question? What do you think of traditional martial arts compared to what people are doing now? If you can compare it, what would you say would be?
I think everything needs a good foundation, and doing traditional martial arts is a great foundation to expand upon. If you start out with the already expanded upon thing, you can't go back and build a good foundation. Does that make? Because your foundation is based on something more fluid, something without a strong base. It's like with Shotokan, correct? Right? The Kibudachi, the horse riding straddle stance. You learn those stances. I was a white belt for almost 2 years and some change. Just learning stances and how to sit in those stances for hours. So when it came time for me to jump around and stuff, I was always higher and I could do anything I wanted because the foundation was so strong. So I think there's value in both of them, but much like Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee didn't start out doing all this, he started out very traditional. So it's easy for him to say you don't need that stuff after he had already gotten it, right? So I just think there's real value in being a traditional martial artist, especially if you're not necessarily using it all for a lot of the guys who look at it are like, well, it doesn't work in a fight and this doesn't work in a fight. You're not learning it to fight. You're learning it to learn. You're learning it to build a strong base, a strong foundation, and then expand upon it, and then use what works in a fight. Because most of the stuff that I learned in my traditional martial arts, in my street fights, I never used any of it because a few moves always got the job done. And I fight different than you fight, and vice versa. But I do find value. I absolutely 100%. It's especially for mental too as well.
Okay, guys, we get ready to take a break. When we come back, maybe he can do a kata for us, so you guys can get a chance to see the traditional part of martial arts.
Shoda!
Good. That was nice, man. Okay, when you see a martial art person run those forms, remember, you see all the things. Focus, speed, power, and endurance, and concentration. Really important about doing katas.
You should be winded, like I am.
Right.
You do the kata right.
Especially when you put a lot into it.
Yeah, you should be. Like, if I had my gi on, you hear
Pops. You hear
pops with each one of them.
But you can still see, as he moves, you can see the foundation of his power, see his platform. I think that's really important as a martial artist, and you can see that martial arts is real. It's real.
Yeah, it's a little tight, but
you did a good job in the little small ring, boy. So Neil, when you do kata, why do you practice kata?
Oh, it's a great stress reliever. It's a great way to stay fit. If you do it right, much like how I feel right now, you should feel the cardiovascular as well as a muscular workout. And also a great way to maintain focus. I mean, we did those katas. I haven't done that kata in maybe that particular one because I do the higher ones. I haven't done that kata in maybe at least 7 years. But my muscle memory goes right back into it because you do it till you can see your opponent.
Right.
So another way about mental focus.
Also, too, guys, as Neil was talking, when you see him do the form, you see he looks, turns the block. Because remember, he's fighting imaginary opponents. At the same time he's fighting imaginary opponents, he's working on focus, control, balance, speed, power. Those are all the things you have to learn as a martial artist. And you know what? I guarantee you, being on the SEAL team, he got to do the same thing. So it takes everything he's learned from martial arts, combine it together, then it becomes that multiplayer. What's the next
Spatial
thing?
awareness, baby. Spatial awareness. You gotta see a lot, taking a lot of information, and you always gotta be looking and knowing where that next guy's coming from. So.
What about self-defense attacks? What do you do for that? What kind of practicing do you do for that?
my great self-defense was avoiding the fight, and if it was going to be a fight, I strike first and strike hard.
Right.
I mean, I got the fight over with before it got started if I felt it was going that way.
Right. So if you was to practice a basic move, say if somebody reached out and tried to grab you, so I'm gonna grab you just slow. You don't. Right. I'll reach out and just kind of say if I went to go like this to you.
I would immediately I would immediately go in to strike.
Okay. Go ahead. You gonna knee?
So yeah, I would try to control the knee,
Okay.
and then I would hit. I would strike. I would try to move. I would pull.
Okay.
And try to get you down.
So many different things that you can do as a martial artist. So
Yeah.
So that's why you practice kata too. I can see that when you're doing the kata, basically most of those moves come from the kata.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. All the bunkai, the application of technique is inside it.
Right.
But you know, the thing about boxing and stuff is like the way you protect yourself is a lot more applicable than a lot of times than like, yeah.
Right.
You know, you learn it this way. That's the foundation, right?
Right, right.
But then you just learn it so you can be here, you know,
Right.
and just ready to go. So this is gonna, you know, be your
thing.
block. This is
Right.
gonna be the block, the real block, and it may even move you forward. But you're still open up. You can still do what you need to do.
So that's what the foundation of karate is for.
Yeah.
When you get into the advanced level.
Yeah, once you start learning, once you get into real fights, and I mean, we learned there's a move in the kata. We learned this, you know, the wrist lock. You know,
Right,
everybody
right.
knows that, right? For the longest time, and you spend all this time learning that wrist lock, and then people are like, but what about this? What about this? And they're like, no, don't worry about it. Just learn the wrist lock. And then there's a move in the kata where you go here and you move, and it just looks really pretty. And then we realized that if you do if you're doing that,
I'm doing
then
this.
that was just
okay,
the
so you
move.
all right, so
that
you're
was
coming
just
out
the
of it.
move.
So
Kata
you-
was teaching you to move to get out of it.
Right.
So you learned how to do it for years.
Right.
And then once you got to that kata and you started doing this pretty little move, you're like, what's that? What's that? And then you eventually learn that's just the way out of the wrist lock.
So you say the word bunkai. A lot of people don't say that. Only Japanese, Okinawan, they
Okinawan.
always talk about bunkai.
Yeah.
Can you explain to people what bunkai
Bunkai
is?
is the application of the technique. So when you're learning the kata itself, like you said, you're fighting in a circle and a wheel for imaginary opponents. Bunkai is like the application of that technique. Why you're doing that block, what it's used for, what that punch is for, what
So
it's
when you're
supposed
doing
to
this,
signify.
when you're doing that, what are you doing?
Well, I'm blocking a front kick. I'm
Kick,
blocking, yeah.
And then you step through.
Yep, I'm stepping through and doing a reverse punch, gyakuzuki to, drive it home. The reverse punch is one of the strongest punches there is. We all see it. You see Gestalt hip rotation in baseball, boxing. You know, they're not throwing the
Arm.
right like this. They're
Using the
turning
hip.
into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your hooks, everything.
Right.
Is based off your legs. If you don't got good legs, you don't have a good foundation.
Right. Hey guys, what we're about to do now, we're on Celebrity Sweat. Don't try this at home unless you get up under good supervision, get a good instructor to teach you to do what this guy's doing. These guys are very skillful. That's why they can do it and get up off the floor and not be hurt. So think about that before you try it.
Okay, listen. So this is like Jayu Pongkamite, the one hit sparring that we would do. And so he would come in with a reverse punch. I'm just gonna do it slow. So you would come here, hit here, and then move over, right, for the throw. Right, so we did it at speed. This. Then you get here, right? And then we can do kata wigoroma.
And notice, guys, how we know when he hits the ground, he knows how to break his fall. And professionally,
Oh, yeah.
you got to know how to do that, because if you don't know how to do that, you hit the ground, you hurt yourself. These guys know how to hit that mat, get right back up without having any pain.
And so here would start from Furudachi, which is fighting stance, and when he comes into attack, we would go here and then flip over. And the reason why you're able to do that is because when you grab the femoral artery in the inner thigh, here, you immediately, it's a shock to your system. So I'm not doing as much here, but when you do it, you're striking here in the growing area, striking, grabbing, and then using that to push and pull over.
So he's making that in one motion. So
Yeah. So I'm coming here, striking and pulling at the same time.
Say after you've done this kind of training, what other kind of training do you do too? I'm at home. And what kind of message you would give me to make my fitness program better?
Oh, cross training is cross training. Any running, swimming, Taibo.
If you don't have anything in your hands, could you show us a couple of exercises we can do right here together?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll start with jumping jacks.
No, we'll start with jumping jacks. Okay, so jumping jacks.
1, 2, 3.
We do a few of these.
5.
And we'll go to the next one.
Push-ups.
Do some push-ups. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Obviously, you can modify too on your knees if you had to, right?
Okay.
And then we'll go into some lunges. Just making sure to keep our posture up. Bending our front knee 90 degrees. Do a few of these. And then we finish off with some squats.
Yes.
Similar to what you gentlemen were talking about already, just building a strong foundation. We work a lot of leg exercises to warm up. Getting a good firm grip on the ground with our feet. And we usually do a few sets of those, and then we'll finish off with some calf raises.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 3 sets of that, it's pretty good warm, pretty good
Warm up.
exercise. Something you can do, in a hotel room or in your living room, fairly easy.
Okay, guys, you're here from the best. They're telling you all good tips to help you get your fitness and wellness program going for the rest of your life. So stay focused, get tough, be the best.